Hey folks, this is SJ and welcome to something a little bit different than usual. Today I'd like to do a little tutorial as it was requested to me, and I decided that a good tutorial to do in Simutrans will be subways. I've looked up for some, but I did not find anything that was really described how to do it. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so first thing we need to understand for the subway is the tree menu we'll be using. First we want to use the railroads. We also need trucks, road crews, and the underground slice map view. Okay, so basically what we want to do, we'll be starting here in Hogborough. And we want to set up a layout for the stations for our subway or metro. So we'll get a normal standard bus stop for the ground surface stops, and we'll lay a couple of them down, so like right here, right here, right here, right here, and one for the theater. And that should be good for the size of a town. Now what we need to do, when we'll have the station underground, if we only install the underground station, there's no way to contact the surface. So if there's no one on the surface that can go into the station, the train will just run around empty. So now that we have that set down, the surface station, we can close up the road tool, it won't be necessary anymore. And we'll use solely the railroad tool and also the slice view map. So the first thing you want to do is to adjust the map so you get under the slice on the level you want to put your subway, so it's the level right underneath where the city is. So to move the map around, you use the plus and minus key on your keyboard on the right and on the numpad, or you can also use those right after numbers on the right just before a backspace. So I'll press once on minus key, and here we are. We're at the right level already. That's good. So once we're on the ground, we want to grab some rail tunnels. You can also use the high-speed rail tunnel if you want. I'll use these because it doesn't really matter. It's more about the money you have, the speed you want the trains to move. Since it's a small city, the train will be very close by and always be stopping, so there's no real reason to put 300 kilometers railroad track. So now to lay down the first track, if you go ahead and, for example, press right away left click on right there, you'll build a tunnel all the way to the other end, and that's not something we want. So to put down the very first track on the side of the map, you can press Ctrl, hold it down, and click, and we'll build only two Ks. So the entrace and the first underground tile. So now what we want to do is to lay out the rails to access all of the stations we have. And as you can see, if you are using the underground mode, which is not a slice mode, I don't remember, I never use it because it's really useless. It's really hard to see how the things are laid down. But with the slice view, when you're right on the level you want, you have the middle of the station that will be lighting up like that, so you know exactly if you put the rails on the right spot, exactly where you want. So that's very good. So now we'll start with a little rail going around, covering these stations. Let's go ahead like that. Let's go like that, and grab that station, and grab that station, and close off the loop. Yeah, I think I should be alright. I think you see right here I have a Oakborough Station 4 that is in the corner, and that's not good. We cannot put a station there. So there's a workaround for that, and I'll show you that right in a minute. So the first thing we want to do is put down some stations on that level so the train can stop and get in and out passengers. So line them up with the station on the top. So we have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 5, and for number 4 it should be right here, but if you click it says we have to be on a straight section. So how can we do that? Well, actually, it's just like if you're on the same level, you don't need to be vertically down, you can be one square around. So let's put it right there, and we're still on the same station. If I take the inspection tool, I'll borrow 4 stop. So we're exactly where we want it to be, and that's great. And I will increase a bit the range, I believe, but that's not an issue. Okay, so now that we have our trains laid down, we'll want to build. So we'll take some underground tunnel, stretch it out here, build a train depot. And what I like to do is to put some electrification. So we'll be using this one, is the cheapest one, 120 km/h. We don't need much more than that. So we'll just close off the complete loop like that. And here we are. Alright, so now we'll be able to start off and get the first train moving. And what I usually take, right now I'm not used to, because right now I'm playing with the beginners model, so I have a lot of trains I'm not used to see. So let's see. Okay, I have a locomotive. Do I have a locomotive that are self-powered? That's a good question. I believe there is. I just don't remember where. Oh, right here. That is a BR614. It's a passenger train diesel, and it's got a capacity of 70 passengers. So we'll grab that one and we'll schedule the new subway. So we'll stop at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll promote that to line. We'll call it okay. So yeah, you need 2 parts for that to work. You need the front end and the rear end. So you need like, it use only 1 tile, I believe. Hopefully only use 1. But that's how you do it with that. So let it roll a little bit, we'll see. So yeah, there's no issue here. We have the train that does it, parkour around town, collecting money, and that's really nice. But let's say it's not the case now, but we get a lot of traffic and the station are overloaded and we want to add another train. So we'll go here, build a new train, schedule it for the very same subway line, and we'll start off and let's see how it goes down. Alright, so now it seems pretty good. We have a nice flow. As you can see, the intersection is not really a problem yet because both of the trains are well timed that if one goes by, the other is pretty far. So now let's say there's even more congestion and we need to add a 3rd train. So we'll go ahead and do that and see what it gives. So let's start that train. Let's start it rolling. And now, yeah, it's still fine for congestion, because what I want to show you is what happens when there's too many trains and it starts clogging up backward. So what we'll do, we'll build even another train. Oh, forgot to set up a schedule. So let's start that train. Let it roll. Okay, so you can see now we're starting to get some trains holding up. Hey, it's pretty fine right now. There's no real issue with that. I mean, they do stop a few seconds, the time the train goes by, and then everyone starts moving. So let's say there's even more congestion than before, and we decide to put a 5th train on the track. Right now you can see where this is going. It won't be a nice thing to add yet another train there. So here we are, a completely dead gridlock. This train cannot move because this train is there, and it cannot move because this one is there, and so forth and so forth, and so it goes. So what is the solution to that? Is actually pretty simple. What we need to grab is in the railroad train is some signals. Not per signals, not long block, not two signals, just basic signals. And we'll build one right here. So here we go. What the single does is that the train will only reserve the blocks that is available up to the next station or single. So as it was beforehand, there were too many trains on the circuit and every station was busy. So the train that was here could not go farther because the train that was on Hogborough 1 was stuck too. So if everybody stays stuck, nobody's going forward. So now with train single, we're able to free up a little bit of the traffic. And this is pretty fine and dandy for a little town like that. I mean, it's not huge, it's not nothing special, it's actually a pretty nice little town with a subway now. So let's go and move forward to something a little bit larger here. This one looks not so bad, but let's move even bigger. Oh, here we're starting to talk now. Okay, so I have ash pie and a pine lock here. I think I'll just grab pine lock. It's just the right size for what I want to do here. So as you can see, it's much larger, and what I like to do is split apart towns in different sections for the subway, because you don't want one subway track to run everything. What I like to do is different subway tracks for different sections, and they all meet up in a general area, usually a place where there's likely to be a lot of traffic going to, because we want to concentrate all the traffic inbound and outbound of a city in the same area to ease out the flow. So what I think I can do here is I will start to lay down some stations. So I will lay down the principal station, the big one, full covered stop right here. And this station I will rename it right away. As principal stop. The reason I want that is that this stop will be easy to spot. When I will look for Pine Lock main stop, it will be named principal stop. So I know exactly what this is and who's going there, what's to be dealt with there. Because otherwise, if you only have stop 1, 2, 3, blah blah blah, it gets a lot overwhelming when you have hundreds of stops across the towns, and if you enlarge the map very big, it gets crazy and confusing very quickly. So now that we have this main stop, let's put down some station here, and we'll see what it gives afterward. We'll be building subways. So I just want to lay down some station that will be covering the city as best as possible. Afterward, I'll be able to decide with the trains exactly how I'll be laying down the traffic for that. Okay, so now it's starting to look good. I don't see any issue. I see most of Pine Lock is covered. At least the important parts are covered. So now I'll go back to the slice view and I will move to the lowest station. And after getting to the lowest station, I'll go one shot underneath. So here we are, and as you can see, we have Pine Lock 10 here. This one, actually, if you go right underneath here, there's absolutely nothing nearby to start the train. And if you pick it up, unless that fix it should not be working, but if I press Ctrl and try to put it down, it says no suitable ground. So there's two solutions when you have only one station like that. Oh, I'm going the wrong way around. What I prefer to do when there's only one is I'll build the entries right next to it. Oh, must be on a straight level. Yeah. Why doesn't it work? It should be a straight. That's weird. Okay, so let's modify a bit the ground. We'll move that. Yeah, what I'm doing right here, it says the slope is not good, so I'll build one that will be perfectly fine. I don't want a road 2, I want railroad tool. So start building that. Come on, what's going on? That's a straight slope. What's wrong with that? Tunnel starts on a straight slope. Not sure what's going on. Okay, I think I understand now. I mean, I'm not sure. No, there's something wrong. Okay, so here we can start. Alright, whatever. Let's say you guys haven't seen anything. Okay, so now we'll start to move our railroads, so we start reaching out for some of the stations. And we'll reach out to Principal Stop. And reach out to Pine Lock 14, here you are. And we'll reach out Pine Lock 12, Pine Lock 11. And we also have these here. Pine Lock 6, 8. Okay, here we have what's going on. Mouse is not listening to me today. Alright, and we got Pine Lock 4, 7, and 9. It needs to be linked up. So let's do that. Alright, so now we have pretty much linked everything but this one, Pine Lock 10. I'll leave it that way. So yeah, it's there's a lot more station, as you can see, and I don't care. Can I lose in beginner mode? That's a good question, right? Hopefully I won't find out today. Okay, so let's pause it so we don't find it out too soon. And let's build some station around the place. Oh, like right here. I did something wrong. Alright, so you have the station coming up. Okay, so we got a station covered. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna electrify the railroads again. So we'll try to make sure every railroads are electrified. Alright, so electrify here, back there, and all the way to the end. And this loop here too. Let's not forget that. And we'll build a new tunnel path to have our train depot, because train depot is quite important for us to build trains. And we'll electrify that too. Alright, so let's start by building a train and doing a schedule. So my first train will actually be the simplest one. We'll go grab Pine Lock Principal Stop, Pine Lock 13, Pine Lock 6, Pine Lock 5, Pine Lock 8, and it will be coming back. Now, as you can see, I need to make some decision here, because I only have one railroad and I'll have multiple trains going through here, and I don't want them to be stuck. So I'll need to have an entry lane. So this one will be my entry lane here. So I'll set down a rail sign, and I will also have an exit lane. This side here. This side will be used when we want to get out of that loop. So this way we're sure there's no train that will do face to face and be stuck there forever. So now that we have that thing done, let's promote it to line. Let's call it subway Pine Lock minor line 1, and let's start it off. And I will build another train, and we'll do the big loop around. So we'll be grabbing principal stop, pine lock 1, pine lock 2, pine lock 3, pine lock 4, 7, 9, 12, 11, 14, and it's going back to pine lock principal stop, and this one will be promoted. And let's make a couple of these because we'll need a lot of people, a lot of trains to move people around. So now that we will have a couple of trains, we need to make some simplification to make sure the lines are well used and as efficiently as possible. So the first thing I want to do is put a couple of rail signals, like one right here to ease the flow of traffic, one right here to ease the flow there too, and I'll put one that way, so to force people to go that way only. And I'm not sure if I've mentioned it yet, but when you put a railroad signal, for example right here, the signal that is on the right side, so if you're coming and the signal is on your right side, you can pass through. So right now, the people who come from pine lock 2 to pine lock 3 will be able to go through. If I put the signal that way, it will be the inverse. Pine lock 3 to pine lock 2 only people will be able to cross that signal. And if I click once more, I have two signals. That means people can go through both ways. But here, for this specific application, I want to limit to one way only to make sure there's no confusion with trains. So I have one signal here, we'll feed that, and then people will be using the station. The station works a little bit like a two-way signal. What I mean is that a train will reserve the block up to the station, and once they get to the station, they will then analyze further routes. So if there's nothing all the way to the next station, they'll take the rail. They will reserve all the blocks all the way there. If there's a signal, they will reserve up to the signal. If there's a station, they will reserve up to there, and from the station then decide what to do next. But the station have a very peculiar thing, is that if, for example, the train wants to use pine lock 2 and pine lock 7, it gets to pine lock 2 and then reserves all the way to the signal. Once it gets the signal, it reserves all the way to pine lock 7. So if the train is not stopping on a specific station, it does not use it as a railroad signal. So you gotta keep that in mind when you make multiple lines using the same path and going through the same stations. Otherwise, for example, if I have a train here wants to go to pine lock 3 and I don't have any rail signal, then you will be waiting a very long time to have a completely clear path, which means it probably won't ever happen. It will just create deadlock, a gridlock, or however you decide to name that thing. Okay, so now I have the rail signals all set up properly, so I think it's time to let time flow and see what's going on. And did I forget to start trains? Yes, I did. That's why it was so empty. Alright, so as you can see, we have the train floating around. It's so beautiful to see. Alright, so we're getting traffic moving. Here, if we zoom in and we slow down time, we can see that this train, let's speed it up a bit. Okay, so this train comes, go to pine lock 13, and if we speed up a little more even, now our train is at pine lock 6, and you will see what I said here. The train stops and waits until it's clear up to this signal, and once it is, then he starts moving. That's exactly what I meant when if the train doesn't stop at a station, it's not considered as a signal. So once that path is clear, for example, if you always have a train moving around here, it can be quite difficult and will cause traffic bottleneck. But right now it's pretty fine. We don't have a large quantity of trains moving around, so that makes it a little bit easier. And with the efficient use of the signals, it ease off and make it very easy to understand. Not to understand, sorry. It makes it very easy to navigate through the mazes you can build. And this is a very simple subway pathway. I mean, you can build something much more complicated than that. You can even build on multiple levels if you really don't want train crossing. And for example, what I could do now is put in an entry over here, connects to a large station, and make all transportation out of the town via train and moving around. For example, going back to Oakboro, building subway is actually very fun and interesting in this game. Uh, you really need basically to understand how to use the train signals. I recommend always using electricity because, as you can see, trains have a large capacity and they're not too expensive, and they are also very small, so they can use only one tile rather than 2 or 3 tiles to start moving some real people. And otherwise, to build, you really need to use the slice map view. If you don't, then it will be very hard. And as a quick refresher, when you're in the slice map view, you press a plus or minus key on your keyboard, and that allows you to move up and down on the slices, which is very nice to be exactly on the level you want to build and make sure nothing weirds go on, unlike if you're using, for example, the underground view that, as I said, I don't even remember where it is. Hopefully they have removed it because it was really not useful. And by really not useful, I mean totally useless. Okay, so anyway, that was a very basic building of some beautiful subways in Pine Lake and Hawkboro. I hope you've enjoyed and learned something maybe. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, a share, and a comment. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter. And if you have any special requests as to what I can do in Simutrans, if you want me to play a specific pack set or do a specific tutorial, just let me know. And I'll probably do it. Thank you very much for watching.